Hi, this is Mrs. Abdul, and I'm here to share my top 10 for summer reading. The first book is called Salty, Bitter, Sweet, and this is about Isabella, who's 17 years old and is going to be part of an internship, a competitive internship at a really prestigious kitchen with the hopes of landing a job in this same kitchen with this top chef. It's about living on the cherry farm with her father and new stepmother and whether or not she's going to make it to the top. The next one is another culinary favorite. So if you consider yourself to be a chef in training or are in the culinary program, this would be another option. This is a memoir called Notes from a Young Black Chef. And Onwuachi is a Nigerian-born, Bronx-raised man who is a top chef contestant, cooked in the White House, and also owns several restaurants. So it's about his life growing up and incorporates some recipes and also talks about being an entrepreneur. The next one is Allies. If you are a historical fiction fan, Alan Gratz is perfect for this. It's about 4 different characters from 4 different walks of life who all merge together on D-Day. The next one is the Making of America series. I recommend all 6 of them, including the newest, Thurgood Marshall. What Terri Kanefield does is she writes a biography that is generally unbiased about the person, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a president, as you can see, and how they built the United States through an idea or an action. The next one is called Light It Up by Kekla Magoon. This is very appropriate for things that you're seeing in the news right now. The main character is a 13-year-old girl who has been shot and killed by a white police officer while on her way home. And it's about a series of vignettes that's about the reaction from the community, from the bystanders, from the words on the street, and it incorporates a bunch of different perspectives. So it moves really, really fast because it moves between all of these different perspectives as they're experiencing this trauma in the community. The next one is Rising Water, the story of the Thai cave rescue. You hear me talking about this one all the time. It was an amazing story from 2018 about a group of boys who ended up being trapped in a cave and about the worldwide response to rescue them from that cave. It's an intense thriller and true. The next one is called Once Upon an Eid, and this is edited by Ali and Aisha Saeed, who you would recognize visited Albany High School in November. This is a short story collection, but what I love most is that it incorporates a short story graphic novel, some short story prose, as well as some narrative. All of the contributors are Muslim, and it talks about the fashion, the food, the family, the religious aspects of Eid in a celebration that is not to be missed. The next one is The Downstairs Girl, and this one takes place in the 1800s, late 1800s in Atlanta, Georgia. Jo is our main character, and she is a Chinese American living with an older Chinese American man in a basement, but the owners of the place that they live don't know that they live downstairs. Housing was at a premium, and as a Chinese American, they were just as discriminated against as blacks in the South. Jo has taken up writing a column in the newspaper called Dear Miss Sweetie, but nobody knows that she's this teenage Chinese American girl. It's about whether or not she's going to be found out. The next one is a manga series called The Girl from the Other Side, and it's this kind of quirky fairy tale about the outside and these inhuman beings that you can see on the front cover, and this little girl who is a human. She has been touched by an outsider, but she does not become inhuman. And it's about this kind of teacher, like mentor-mentee relationship between these two and about kind of the dangers that are lurking in the woods. And the last is my favorite slide, and it's an announcement that Brandy Colbert will be with us in the fall at Albany High School. So my suggestion is to read all of Brandy Colbert's books. The 2 on the left, The Only Black Girls in Town and The Voting Booth, are brand new. The Voting Booth is actually going to be out in just a month or 2. She's also written The Revolution of Bertie Randolph, Finding Yvonne, Little and Lion, and Point. There is so much to dive into in these stories. You've got ones about ballet and being a ballerina. You've got ones about teenage pregnancy. You've got ones about being an activist and voting. I would highly recommend any of these titles. And if you want to read all of them in preparation, even better. So follow us on social media and get reading Albany High School.